Yes, welcome. Peace, Hotep, Ma'at, and Amun Rod. It's your brother Radio 1 coming back at you again with another video of truth and historical reality. Um now yeah, I'm running a little late, so had to take care of some business and take care of a couple things, but yeah, we in the house and let's get it in. Okay. Now yeah, the name of the video is Cushites in East Africa, Egyptians in West Africa, Hamites of Mizraim and Cush. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna wait for participants to come in and we're gonna start the lesson. Yes. So today we're gonna get this truth out today because I've seen so many videos speaking on this subject and I haven't seen one that told the truth yet. It's ridiculous. But yeah, today, okay, we're gonna keep it civilized. Okay, we're gonna keep it educational and keep it truthful. Okay, gonna be no attacks because attacking people and getting angry and all that doesn't get you anywhere. And I know sometimes I get heated, but I don't mean to. But from now on, you're not going to see any more of that, okay? Because it's not right. It's not righteous, and it proves nothing, okay? But yeah, for those who are tuning in, let me know if you can hear me. We're going to start the lesson here in a minute. Just want to know if my sound is good, okay? Let's see here. But yeah, we're going to start the lesson in a minute, so just be patient and hang in there. Let's see here, okay? I should be able to see myself in YouTube. Okay, let's see if I can see myself in YouTube. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna wait a while and yeah, we're gonna start the lesson. Okay. So, just be patient. So see, we're good to go. Okay, we're good to go. Okay. But yes, now I know on my previous stream, I was because I just got into a debate with this anti-Kemet, pro-Hebrew Israelite type of person, and I got kind of heated, and something happened with that video. It got flagged or something. It never got posted, but this video is going to be different. So yeah, we're going to keep it positive, okay, keep it educational, and just get this truth out, because that when we put our emotions aside, and hatred and anything else, we put that aside and just focus on the truth. That's all that matters at the end of the day, is the truth, getting the truth out. Okay, that's the only important thing that matters, is getting this truth out. Okay. Now, so what is the norm today? The lie. Okay. The Hamites of the Bible only apply to the people of East Africa. There's so many different theories. There's so many different theories that goes against the one and only truth. Okay. Hamites only applies to the people of East Africa. And you have some people say, well, Ham is only applied to Egypt and a small part of Libya and the northern parts of Sudan. Okay. But it's all wrong. Okay. Because those who say that Ham or the Hamites only applies to Egypt and Cush, well, they have Ham confused with Egypt and Cush. Yes. because you have Ham, Cush, Mizraim, and Phut. No, Cush and Mizraim only applies to Cush in Egypt. That's not talking about Ham, okay? And I'm going to show today that Ham, or the Hamites, applies to all Africa. And Cush, Mizraim, that applies to the Nile River. Okay, so we have to make that distinction. Okay, we have to make that very clear, because there's a lot of confusion going on when it comes to the Hamites of the Bible. Okay, because if you're going to include one part of it, you have to include the rest of it. Okay, if you're going to include the eastern parts of Africa, you have to include West Africa as well, because it's all one territory. It's all one land. Yes. And if you're going to say West Africa have nothing to do with it, well, you're going to have to say, well, East Africa is not included either. Okay, because if you're going to take one out, you're going to have to take the other out. But if you're going to include one, you have to include the other. Okay, simple as that. So we're going to start the lesson off here in a little bit. Okay, we're waiting to get some more participants in the building. Okay, so just bear with me. But yeah, we just for all of you who just tuning in, the video is Cushites in East Africa and Egyptians in West Africa. Okay, now on this channel here, you're going to get the truth, raw and uncut. Okay, because I do not entertain that 17th century and 18th century pseudo history that's being taught today. Okay, if you want that, you can go to another channel. Okay, they will gladly teach you that. Okay, but I only deal with the original sources, the ancient sources. I prove it from the Bible. I don't like going to later sources and proof and to prove my point. Okay, I like proving it from the Bible. I like proving it from the primary sources. Okay, so yeah, we got some people in the building. Okay, don't be shy. Leave some comments. Okay, express your opinion, and I'm going to get to your questions in a little bit. Okay, so yeah, and be sure to click the like button. Okay, click the thumbs up. Show your brother some love. Okay, because I'm doing this for free. Okay, I'm giving you this truth for free. I'm teaching this for free because the truth should be for free. Now you can go to those other channels and they're gonna charge you to teach you some lies. Yeah, they're gonna charge you to lie to you. But I'm giving this to you for free. Okay, I'm giving you the truth for free, straight from the source. Okay. Now, so without further ado, let's get off into the lesson. Okay. So now, first things first, let's deal with, okay, let's go to the Bible, okay? We're going to go to the Bible, and I'm going to do some screen sharing here, okay? Just bear with me. Right, and we're going to start with from Genesis 10. Okay, Genesis 10. I'm going to take it from there. So let's see here. So we're going to do some screen sharing. Okay, let's do some screen sharing. And we're going to deal with this subject step by step. And yes, welcome in the building, Jose Gomez. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you in the building. Welcome. Okay. Thanks for leaving a comment and showing your support. Now, now let's do some screen share here. Okay. So let's go. So here's the source, the King James Bible. Okay. But we're going to deal with Genesis 10, and so that you can see the quotes. Okay, I typed it up for you. So let's deal with it. Okay. So, okay. Now, we're going to start with Genesis 10 and 6. Okay. Now it says Genesis 10 and 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim and Phut and Canaan. So we see here, according to Genesis 10 and 6, the sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. Okay. So what is it saying? How can we examine this and break this down to the truth? Well, it's pretty much saying that the Cushites, Mizraim, the Egyptians, Phut, the Libyans, and Canaan, the Canaanites, were the sons of Africa. That's what it's saying. Because Ham is Africa. The land of Ham is Africa. So it's saying that they were indigenous to Africa. That's what it's saying. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here a minute to Josephus. We're going to go to Josephus Flavius. Okay, we're going to debunk Josephus Flavius. Okay, and let's go to Josephus Flavius. Okay, and we're going to touch on this briefly, and we're going to get back to the subject. So we're going to go to Josephus Flavius. Where is Josephus Flavius? Okay. And yeah, so yeah, just bear with me. And we're gonna go non-stop in a minute here, but I just want to touch on this right quick. Okay. There it is. Josephus Flavius. So welcome in the house, everybody. For those of you who are just tuning in, the name of the video is Cushites in East Africa, Egyptians in West Africa. Okay, so let's go to Josephus Flavius here for a minute. Okay, and we're going to get back to the scripture. Okay, so here's Josephus Flavius, and here's what he had to say about the descendants of Ham. Okay, you should be able to see that. Okay, so you see it, Josephus Flavius, Antiquities of the Jews, Book 1. Okay, and Josephus Flavius says, the children of Ham possessed the land from Syria and Hamites in the mountains of Libanus, seasoned upon all that is on the seacoast as far as the ocean. Okay, keeping it as their own. So according to Josephus, the children of Ham possessed the land from Syria and Hamites to the mountains of Lebanon. So Josephus is placing the Hamites in Syria, up on the coast of Syria, and what is known today as modern day Turkey. Okay, that's what he's saying. This is Josephus. But as we just read from the Bible, let's go back to the Bible. Okay, the Bible doesn't say this. The Bible says the sons of Ham were Cush and Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. So in other words, the Cushites, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan were the sons of Africa, the sons of Ham, because Ham is Africa. Okay, so let's go back to the Bible here. Okay, so we see here Josephus is wrong. Josephus was wrong in saying that the children of Ham dwelt in Syria and Hamites, and the Bible does not agree with Josephus, as we clearly just see. Okay, so let's deal with this for a minute. Okay, and we're going to get back to the subject. Okay, so let's go here, and we see here. Okay, according to Psalms, the book of Psalms 105, okay, verse 23, and it says, Israel also came into Egypt and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham, showing you that the land of Ham was Africa. Okay, the land where the pyramids sit on and the temples of Egypt sit on was the land of Ham, which is all of Africa, which is one whole land called Africa. Okay, we see here in it says here that Psalms, the book of Psalms 78:51, and he says, and smote all the firstborn of Egypt, the chief of their strength, in the tabernacles of Ham. Okay, clearly saying here that the land where Egypt set at was the land of Ham. Okay, so when it says, when we go back, when it says the Cushites, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan were the sons of Ham, meaning they were the sons of Africa. They were indigenous. They didn't come from anywhere else. That's exactly what it is saying. Okay, and we're going to touch on this briefly. Let's go back here. Okay. All right. So, all right, we're going to touch on this briefly, and we're not going to be too long on it. Okay, and so let's bring this down some. And they tried to say that this proves that the Hamites came from Mesopotamia. And it says in Genesis 11, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Okay, so we see here that it says nothing about Noah or Ham. It just says they. So this does not prove that they came from the east or from the land of Shinar, because it doesn't say who. It just says they. So we see here that when they say that this proves that the sons of Ham or the sons of Noah came from the east, we see that this is not the case, because it doesn't say who. And it says here, and the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they imagine to do. Okay. And it says, so the Lord scattered them abroad from upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore, the name of it is called Babel, because the Lord did confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. Okay, so this is what Bible scholars have been saying all along, saying that the sons of Ham came from Babel, and their migration into Africa took place during the scattering of the earth, or from the Tower of Babel. But we see here it doesn't say who. Okay, it says the Lord scattered them. Who is them? We don't know. It doesn't say who. Okay, could have been a Nimrod. It could have been anybody. Okay, it says, and therefore the Lord called it Babel, because the Lord did confound the language of the earth, and the Lord scattered them abroad upon the face of the earth. Now, it would have been nice if it said that, and the Lord scattered the sons of Noah or the sons of Ham upon the face of the earth, but it doesn't say that. And as we just read in Josephus added his own interpolation to the Bible, saying that it was Ham or the sons of Noah who came from Babel and scattered the earth. But we see here that the Bible is not saying that. So, but yeah, let's see how many people we have in the building. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome. Okay. So, yes, and please hit the thumbs up button. Okay. Now, so what we're going to do here, we're going to go back to, go back to the text. So now that we got that clear, okay, that the sons of Ham, they were the Hamites who were indigenous to Africa. That's what Genesis 10:6 is saying. Okay, now the first part of the book of Genesis, you can't take it literally. You cannot take it literally because it is based during the age of myth and gods. Okay, so you can't take it literally, and that's why no migration is mentioned, because you can't take it literally. It's not taking place during a historical time, and that's why it says that the sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. But we hear of no migration. But this is saying that the Cushites, the Egyptians, and the Libyans of Phut, and the Canaanites were indigenous to Africa. They were aboriginal, or sons of the soil. Okay, children of the soil. That's what it is saying in Genesis 10:6. Okay, and well, we're going to move on. Okay, let's move on. So now that we dealt with the Hamites, okay, let us deal with the Cushites. Okay, because we have to make that distinction. Now, as we just read, the ancestors of the Cushites were Hamites. Yes, because the Cushites were the sons of Ham. So before there was a Cush, there was Ham. That's what the Bible is saying. So the people, all those people dwelling along the Nile River from Cush to Egypt were Hamites before they became Cushites, Mizraim, Egyptians, and Phut, and Canaanites. Yes. So just vision that in your head. Before there was Egypt, before there was Cush, there was only Hamites. Okay. No temples, no pyramids, just villages and prehistoric tribes dwelling along the Nile River. Yes. Okay. So that's what you have to envision in your head. You have to stay within the chronology. Okay. Stay in chronological order. Okay. First there was indigenous Hamites indigenous to Africa. Okay, just as the Bible says. Okay, says nothing about Hamites or the sons of Ham coming from Mesopotamia or Babylon or from the Tigris-Euphrates region. It clearly says that they were indigenous to Africa. They were the sons of Africa. So now that we got that cleared up, let's go to the Cushites. So we see here so we're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 7. And it says, and the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Rama, and Saptaka, and the sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. So we see here that the sons of Cush were Seba and Havilah. So the question is, who were these people? Where did they dwell? Do history, ancient history, original history that's contemporary with the time, does it give us any clues of where these people dwelt? And the answer is yes, it does. So let's go here to Strabo. Okay, Strabo, book 16, 4 and 5. Okay, Strabo, book 16, chapter 4, paragraph 5. And it says, Artemidorus says, okay, in the interval, there empties a branch of the Ostabarus River, as it is called, which, having its source in a lake, empties a part of its waters, but for the most part, joins the Nile. Then one comes to the 6 islands called Latome, and then to the Saba-Itic mouth, as it is called, and to a fortress in the interior, which was founded by Tusukes, okay, and then to a harbor called Elia, and to an island of Strato, and then to a harbor called Saba, and to a hunting ground for elephants of the same name. So we see here, according to Strabo, okay, the Seba, okay, which is another name for Saba, the son of Cush, okay, Seba and Havilah and Sabta. So we see here that the land of Seba or Saba was east of the Nile River. near the Red Sea, because Diodorus here is talking about the area, the area near the Red Sea in East Africa, and he places near the Ostabarus River. Okay, the Ostabarus River is the Atbara River today. It is known as the Atbara River today, which it is the Nile River that splits after the Sixth Cataract, I believe, and it splits into two different rivers, and this is called the Atbara River. Then after that comes the White Nile, where Khartoum sits at. Okay, but yeah, so the Ostabarus River. Let's talk about east of the Nile, the area east of the Nile, from the east of the Nile to the Red Sea. And we see here that Strabo places, he names a place called the Saba-itic mouth, okay? And he mentions a harbor called Saba, and he places it east of the Nile in what we know today as Eritrea and modern-day Ethiopia, in that area. But this Saba, okay, these were the sons of Cush. This is where the sons of Cush dwelt at. So for those who are saying that Cush only applies to northern Sudan, you are wrong, okay, because history disagrees with you. Because we see here the area of Saba, all this area was Kushite territory, okay? But let us move on, okay? So we're going to go here to Strabo. Okay, Strabo, book 16. Okay, book 16, chapter 4 and 5. Okay, book 16, chapter 4, and he says here, Strabo, book 16, chapter 4. He says, next, after the harbor of Antiphilis, one comes to the grove of the Calobi, into Berenice, a Sabian city, into Sabe, a good-sized city, and then to the grove of Eumenes. After saying all this about the troglodyte and the neighboring Ethiopians, Artemidorus returns to the Arabians. So it's saying here that he's talking about the area of the troglodytes, which is the Red Sea coast of Africa, okay, East Africa, and the neighboring Ethiopians, meaning the east of the Nile River. So this is who he's talking about. In this location, he mentions, okay, a city called Berenice. He calls it a Sabian city, into Sabe, a good-sized city. So we see here that, and this is referring to the east of the Nile. But let's go back to let us go here, okay? All right. We're going to look up Berenice. So we get an understanding of where Berenice is. Okay. So it says, let's blow it up. So it says here, Berenice Troglodytica. Okay. It says Berenice, or Berenice Troglodytica, also known as Baranis, is an ancient seaport of Egypt on the west coast of the Red Sea. Okay, it is situated about 825 kilometers south of Suez and east of Aswan in Upper Egypt. Okay, so we see here that the city, the Sabian city of Berenice, was east of the Nile. So this is showing you that Saba, okay, or the sons of Cush, Saba, dwelt east of the Nile River. Yes. So pretty much, in other words, showing you that the sons of Cush, the descendants of Cush, dwelt east of the Nile River. So that's what it is saying here, okay? But let us continue. Okay? So we see here clearly that Saba, which is the largest of the Kushite tribes, which I'm going to show shortly, dwelt east of the Nile River. Okay, and Saba is the same as Genesis 10, chapter 7, and the sons of Cush, Seba. Seba is Saba, okay? And Sabta, that's also Saba in Sabataka, okay, Sheba. Those are your Sabian tribes, and those are your descendants of Cush. And we see here that they dwelt east of the Nile River, in what is known today as the Horn of Africa, Eritrea, Djibouti, okay, Abyssinia, or modern day Ethiopia. Okay. So we just read that according to Strabo, that the Sabians, or the city of the Sabians in Saba, the original Saba was east of the Nile River. Okay, and Cush was the people along the Nile River. So that's what you have to understand. When it talks about Cush, it's talking about the people dwelling on the banks of the Nile River, south of Egypt. Okay, and we're going to take a look at some maps here in a little bit, but we're going to finish the text here. Okay, so we just dwelt with that. Okay, we dealt with that. Okay, so in Strabo here, okay, we're going to go to Strabo again. Strabo, 1st century BCE, 2,000 years ago. Okay, we're not talking about any late 1800, 1700 pseudo scholarship here. But yeah, just give me a minute, okay? So yes, I'm back, okay? So we're going to go to Strabo Geography, book 16, chapter 4, the same chapter. Okay, and he says here, after saying all this about the Troglodytes and the neighboring Ethiopians, Artemidorus returns to the Arabians. Okay, and he says further down, bordering up on these is the very fertile country of the Sabians, a very large tribe in whose country myrrh and frankincense and cinnamon are produced. So we see here, according to Strabo, quoting from Artemidorus, which was a 2nd century BCE geographer, he says the Arabians, there was an Arabian tribe, okay, called the Sabians. He says the bordering up on these is the very fertile country of the Sabians, a very large tribe. So he's saying that the Sabians were the largest tribe in southern Arabia, okay? Because that's what he's talking about here. He's talking about the southern Arabians, meaning the Arabians across the Red Sea, east of Troglodyte, or east of East Africa, across the Red Sea, which we know today as Yemen, okay, or southern Arabia. And he's saying that the Sabians, meaning Saba, the sons of Cush, okay, Seba, also dwelt in Arabia. So we see here the migration, okay, took place from Cush, then it went eastward to Arabia, to East Africa, and from East Africa, they went into Arabia. But okay. So now that we dealt with that, we're gonna look at some maps here in a minute. Okay, but let's see if there's any other quotes that we need to deal with. Okay. Yes. Oh, yes, we definitely have to deal with this. Okay. And we're gonna look at some maps after this. So we see here, we're going to go to the source known as the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. In line 20 to 23, it says here, directly below this place is the adjoining country of Arabia in its length, bordering a great distance on the Erythraean Sea. And he says, and after 9 days more is Safar, the metropolis, in which lives Charabel, lawful king of 2 tribes, the Hamites and those living next to them called the Sabaites. Okay, so we see here, according to the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, it mentions a tribe called the Sabaites who dwelt next to the Hamites. Now, the Hamites are the ancestors of the Himyarites of Yemen in southern Arabia. Okay, but it mentions the Sabaites. Okay, but these are all Sabian tribes who were descendants of Cush, and we see here that they dwelt east of the Nile River. Okay, east of the Nile River on the Red Sea coast of Africa and across the Red Sea coast of Africa in southern Arabia. Okay, but let's deal with this here. This is another account, and this is also from the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. And it says here, from the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, line 7, from this place, the Arabian Gulf trends towards the east and becomes narrowest just before the Gulf of Hamites. Okay, now notice it mentioned here a tribe called the Hamites. Now these Hamites were none other than the Havilah, the Havilah of the scripture, who were the sons of Cush. Okay, you take off the H, what you get? Avila. Okay, but the Bible pronounces as Havilah, but these are the same people. In the Avilites, are talk about the people in East Africa and what is known today as modern day Ethiopia. Okay, and it says, from this place, the Arabian Gulf trends towards the east and becomes narrowest just before the Gulf of Hamites. After about 4,000 stadia, for those sailing eastward along the same coast, there are other Berber market towns known as the far side ports. Okay, and it says here further down, far side ports. Okay, lying at intervals, one after the other, without harbors but having roadsteads where ships can anchor and lie in good weather. The first is called Avilites. To this place, the voyage from Arabia to the far side coast is the shortest. Here is a small market town called Avilites, which must be reached by boats and rafts. Okay, so we see here again on the coast. Okay, the rich sea coast of Africa mentions a place called Avila, or Avili. It's another word for Avilites. These are the descendants of Cush. Okay, this is talk when it says mentions Havilah, the son of Cush. It's talking about this area. Okay, so this is also Kushite territory. Is what it's saying. Okay, and he says here, after Avilites, there's another market town better than this called Malau. Okay, distant a sail of about 800 stadia. There are exported from these places myrrh, a little frankincense that is known as the far side, the harder cinnamon, dukkha, Indian kapal, and makir, which are imported to Arabia in slaves but rarely. Okay, so again, it mentions the Avilites. Okay, and this is also the land of Punt mentioned in the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. And he says here in the Periplus of Erythraean Sea, after sailing beyond this place, about 300 stadia, the coast of Arabia and the Berber country, about the Avilitic Gulf, now coming close together. Okay, so we see here, according to the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, he says, after sailing beyond this place, about 300 stadia, the coast of Arabia and the Berber country, about the Avilitic Gulf, now coming close together. So he's saying here that the coast of Arabia on the eastern side and the coast of East Africa on the western side comes close together at this point. Okay, so that's what he's saying here. Now, and we also have to keep in mind that Cush in the Bible is translated as Ethiopia. Yes, and we will touch off into that, but maybe we'll do that on another video. But let's focus on the subject here. So let us go to some maps. Okay, let's go to the map here. Okay, and I'm going to show you the Erythraean Sea map. Okay, this is the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea map. Let's blow it up here. Okay, so we see here all the tribes. You see Berenice, east of Egypt, where the red dot is. Okay, and you see Adulis the Avalites, Meroe, Oxamites. Okay, this is showing the tribes of the Horn of Africa in southern Arabia here. So we see Safar in Arabia, the Sabata. Okay, this is another word for Sabian. You see Aponi, which is Punt of Somalia, and these are all the Sabian tribes. These are all the descendants of Cush in this area. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you see the Avalites here, Havilah, mentioned also in Genesis 2, I believe, as the river Pison or whatever flowing through the land of Havilah, or the river of Havilah. This is all Kushite territory. Okay, so we can get an understanding of where the Cushites dwelt, which was east of the Nile River. So let's see how many viewers we have. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome. Okay, so yeah, that is the map for that. So now we see here, according to the text, okay, the people known as the Seba, the sons of Cush, the descendants of Cush dwelt east of the Nile River, which I will also show more in the map. But we see here all the text that I just read places the descendants of Cush east of the Nile River. So we won't get any confusion here. Now Josephus tried to place the Havilah, the sons of Cush, Havilah, in the land of the Gutilians to the west, but we see here that Josephus was wrong. We see here that the Havilites or the Avalites dwelt east of the Nile River, not west of the Nile River. Okay, so let us move on here. Okay, let's get straight to the point. And we see here that, okay, in 2 Chronicles chapter 12 and 2, it says, and it came to pass that in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, because they had transgressed against the Lord, with 1,200 chariots and 300,000 horsemen, and the people were without number that came with him out of Egypt, the Libyans, the Sukkians, and the Ethiopians. Okay, now the word for the Ethiopian here is Kushite, is Cush. Okay, so Cush is translated into Ethiopian in the Bible. Okay, and we're going to deal with that. Okay, but let's deal with that. Okay. Okay. Cush. So we're going to go to Cush in the Strong's Concordance. Okay, so we can get a better understanding of who Cush was in the Bible. So we see here from Strong's Concordance 3568. Okay, Cush says here, Cush, the son of Ham. Okay, also a descendant, and it says a land south of the Nile Valley. Okay, so for those of you who are saying that Cush was in Asia, the Strong's Concordance disagrees with you. And we also see in the Bible that Cush is always grouped with Egypt, showing that it was the land south of Egypt and not in Arabia or in Asia. Okay, the original Cush was in Africa, south of Egypt. Okay, that's what it's saying. But we see here that it mentions the verses, and it says the Englishman Concordance, the verses where it is translated. And we see here that in the King James Version, it is translated as Ethiopia. Okay, Genesis 2 and 13, it says, when the whole land of Ethiopia, okay, is translated as Ethiopia. Genesis, 2 Kings 19 and 9, okay, where it says Taharka, the king of Ethiopia. So we see that Cush, that the translators, the King James translator, translated Cush as Ethiopia, showing that back then they knew that Cush was Ethiopia, okay? Which is what history shows, okay? Ethiopia, south of Egypt. We see here Psalms 68:31. Okay, Cush is translated as Ethiopia in the King James Version, okay? And we see here that in Psalm 7:1, okay, that it is translated as Cush. In an other Bible translation, such as the NIV, in the International Bible Translation, it is translated as Cush, its original name, but the King James Version translated as Ethiopia. That's what you have to understand. But let us move on, okay? So now that we show that the descendants of Cush, the sons of Cush, okay? Now, I couldn't touch on everything because we're going to try to have a short live stream here. But I just wanted to show on that, and I will touch on more later in future videos, but I just wanted to show that the majority, okay, of the majority, I would say, might as well say all of the descendants of Cush dwelt along the Nile River, south of Egypt, and east of the Nile River towards the Red Sea, which is in the land of the Sabians. And it says here, we have to keep in mind as well that Saba, okay, Saba says here in the sons of Cush, Seba or Saba and Havilah. Okay, Saba was the first son of Cush. Okay, and Havilah was the second son of Cush. And okay, Sabta. This is another word for Saba. Saba, Sabtaka, another word for Saba. Okay, so we see that the first sons of Cush, the eldest sons of Cush were the Sabians and the Havilah or the Avila, the Avilites. Okay, all dwelt east of the Nile River, as we just read. Okay, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can do your own research, and you will find out what I'm saying is true. So, but let's continue here. So now that we dealt with the Cushites east of Africa, okay, we're going to deal with the people, the sons of Mizraim. Okay, we're going to deal with them. So let's go to sons and descendants of Mizraim. Okay, let's deal with this. Okay, so let's get the quote, get it by itself. So you see here, we're going to go to book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 13. And it says, in Mizraim begot Ladim and Anamim and Lehabim and Naphtuhim and Pathusim and Kasuhim, out of whom came Philistine and Captorim. Okay, so we see here, according to the book of Genesis, chapter 10, 13, okay, we have to keep in mind whoever the begotter was, that's who the people were. So he says, Mizraim begot Ladim, Anamim, and Lehabim. So it is saying, in other words, Egyptians begot Ladim, Anamim, and Lehabim. Okay, so we have to look for Egyptians in the land of Lehabim and Ladim. So we're going to go to this word here, Lehabim. Okay, and let's go to this word. Okay, Lehabim. Okay, so let's go to Lehabim, and we're going to get an understanding of where this place was. Okay, so we go to Strong's Concordance. Okay, it says Lehabim, Strong's Concordance 3853, a tribe descendant from Mizraim. Okay, as we read here, it says the definition, a tribe or descendant from Mizraim. And it says here, and it comes from the same as Lahab. So what does Lahab mean? Okay, it derives from Lahab. It means Lahab, meaning definition, flame or blade. Flame meaning hot. Okay, so it's talking about it was a hot land. Okay, so That's what it means. And here's another definition as well. Lahaba, okay, meaning flame. Okay, Strong's Concordance 3852. Lahaba or lehabaf, meaning flame. Just another word for hot or hotland. Okay, so you can get a look at it. Okay, look at here. Strong's Concordance 3852. Okay, so let's go back to lehabim. Okay, lehabim. Okay, so is there any other information we can get on it? Let's see here. Okay, it says proper name of a people, Genesis 10, Chronicles 11. Okay. But it says here, yeah, that it's the son of Mizraim. Okay, so let us go back. And who were these people? So the question is, who were these people later in Scripture? Okay, and the Lehabim were also the people known as the Lubim. Okay, so we're going to go to Strong's Concordance 3864, where he mentions the Lubim. Okay, these are the same as the Lehabim. When you take out the Leha, or take out the A from Leha, you get Labim. Okay, which is the same as Lubim. It says here, inhabitants of North Africa. Okay, it says Libya, Libyans, Lubim, Libya. Okay, and it says here, name of a people, plural, Libyans of North Africa. Okay, name of a people, Libyans. Okay, and but let's read this region. Okay, let's read this part. It says Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. It says a dry region, apparently a Libyan or inhabitant of interior Africa, meaning the southern parts of Libya. Okay, or Lubi. Okay, partial from a name probably derived from an unused root meaning to thirst. A dry region, apparently a Libyan or inhabitant of interior Africa. So it's saying here that this Libya is the true Libya is the interior of Africa, meaning the south of the Sahara Desert. Okay, that's the true Libya. Okay, but let us go to Josephus again. Okay, and we're going to see what he has to say on the subject. Okay, let's go to Josephus again. So we see here that is clearly referring to Lehabim. It's translated as Libya. Let's go back to Josephus. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to Josephus again. And let's see if we can find a shortcut here. Okay, so we won't have to go through all that. There we go. Okay. Now, Josephus. Okay. Here's what Josephus has to say. Okay. And he says here, right here, okay, where my mouse is, right here, he says, Phut also was the founder of Libya and called the inhabitants Phutites from himself. There is also a river in the country of the Moors which bears that name. Okay. Whence it is that we may see the greatest part of the Grecian historiographers mention that river in the adjoining country by the appellation of Phut. But the name it has been by change given it from one of the sons of Mizraim, who was called Libyos. Okay, so it's saying here that the Libyans in history were the descendants of Phut. Okay, and the name of Libya was changed to the Egyptians who inhabited Libya. Okay, and they changed the land to Libya. Okay, but let us go further down here. Okay, We're going to touch on this briefly. And he says, he's talking about, okay, now all the children of Mizraim being 8 in number, okay, and he says here, as for the rest of the children of Mizraim, Ludim and Enamim and Labim, who alone inhabited Libya, okay, and called that country for himself. So even according to Josephus, he knew that Labim, or the Lehabim of the scripture, was Libya. So the question is, when it says Mizraim begot Lubim, and when it says Ludim and Alamim, this is another word for Libya. Okay, Ludim is a mistranslation or corruption of the word Libya. Okay, but it just got the D in there, but it's talking about the same country, Libya. Okay, so when it says Mizraim begot Lubim, so we're looking for Egyptians in Libya. We're not looking for Libyans in Libya, because as we just read, the original people of Libya were the descendants of Phut. Okay, the tribes of Phut, which I will probably do a video on later, but we see here that they were the tribes of Phut. So who were these Egyptians in Libya? Okay, because some will get it confused, say that these Libyans, the Libyans mentioned in history, were the descendants of Mizraim, but that's not the case. The Libyans were the people who were already there before the arrival of the sons of Mizraim, which were the Egyptians. That's what you have to understand. Okay, but the Libyans, the people we call Libyans, or they're called Berbers today, those were the descendants of Phut, and they were not Egyptians in Libya. They were Libyans in Libya, the people who were already there. So we're looking for Egyptians in Libya. But let us go here, and we're going to find those Egyptians in Libya. Okay, but let us look at the chat. Okay, see who's in the house. Okay, we got Anthony Harris. Peace, brother. Peace, brother Anthony Harris, Phutite general. Okay. Okay, welcome. So let us go here. Now, who were these Egyptians in Libya? Okay, we're not looking for Libyans in Libya. We're looking for Egyptians in Libya. So let's go to Herodotus. Herodotus, the Histories, Book 4, Chapter 181. Okay? See, this is what you have to understand. The truth is here. Okay? The truth is in these sources, but a lot of you want to ignore it. Okay? And a lot of you can't accept what it is, and some of you just don't know it all. And that's why I am here to teach you, and I'm here to be honest about these sources, okay? Which I cannot say for other scholars, okay? But let's go here. Herodotus, okay? The Histories, Book 4, Chapter 181. And he says here, thus then have been mentioned those nomad Libyans, okay, who live along the sea coast. Now, when Herodotus mentions these nomad Libyans who live along the sea coast in northern Libya, okay, on the Mediterranean Sea, north of Libya, these are the descendants of Phut. Yes, these are the tribes of Phut mentioned in the Bible, okay, the Libyans, the nomad Libyans, okay, Libyans in Libya on the sea coast. And he also saying here that the Libyans, or the descendants of Phut, were the people to the north of Libya on the Mediterranean Sea. That's what he is saying here. Okay. All right. But then he says, okay, he says, thus then have been mentioned those nomad Libyans who live along the sea coast. And above these, inland, is the region of Libya, which has wild beasts. And above the wild beast region, there stretches a raised belt of sand, extending from Thebes of the Egyptians to the Pillars of Hercules. Okay. Now, Thebes is referring to southern Egypt, which we know today as Waset or Luxor. Okay. And the Pillars of Hercules is referring to modern day Morocco at the Straits, what we know today as the Straits of Gibraltar near Spain, okay? But it's talk about from Thebes to Morocco, okay? The southern part of Morocco and the southern part of Thebes, okay? And he says, first, at a distance of 10 days' journey from Thebes are the Amunians, whose temple is derived from that of the Theban Zeus, okay? So, who are these Amunians, okay? So let's go further down and we're going to continue, okay? So we see here, we're going to go to Herodotus, the Histories, book 2, chapter 42. And he says, hence, the Egyptians make the image of Zeus into the face of a ram, and the Amunians do so also after their example, being settlers from both the Egyptians and from the Ethiopians, and using a language which is a medley of both tongues. In my opinion, it is from this god that the Amunians took the name which they have, for the Egyptians called Zeus Amun. So now we see here those Egyptians in Libya mentioned in book of Genesis chapter 10 verse 13 were the Amunians, were the southern tribes of Libya. Yes, not the northern tribes, not the descendants of Phut or the proper Libyans, okay? But we, as I said, we're looking for Egyptians in Libya. And those Egyptians in Libya were the Amunians, okay? The southern people of Libya. And we see here that the Amunians were also Egyptians and Ethiopians, showing you that Amunian, okay, Egyptian, Ethiopian, all the same people, okay? The Amunians were Ethiopians. They were Egyptians. The Ethiopians were Amunians. That's what it's saying. Yes, okay? That's what you have to understand. So when he mentions Ethiopians in another location, they are the same as these people, the Amunians, okay? We know that the Ethiopians are constantly associated with the god Zeus or Amun. These are all the same people, Amunians, okay? Amunian is another word for Ethiopian in Egyptian or Southern Egyptian, okay? All the same people, okay? So this right here, the Amunians are the key people in discovering who these descendants of Mizraim were in the West Africa, okay? In West Africa. Because they are the original descendants of Mizraim, okay? Because the migration started from the east and it went west, okay? And these Amunians are the key people that connect, okay, Egypt with the rest of West Africa. Yes, they are the link. The people of modern day Siwa, okay, the Amunians were the people who dwelt in modern day Siwa. And these people were the link between Egypt, southern Egypt, and West Africa. Yes. So it is through them that we find out who these sons of Mizraim were in the western parts of Africa. Okay. So these were the Egyptians in Libya. Okay. So let us continue. Okay. So we're going to continue again from Herodotus, book 1, chapter 181. Okay, we already read. Let's read it again briefly. Thus then have been mentioned those nomad Libyans who live along the seacoast, and above these, inland or southward, is the region of Libya which has wild beasts. And above or south of the wild beast region, there stretches a raised belt of sand extending from Thebes of the Egyptians to the Pillars of Hercules. Okay. He says afterwards, first, at a distance of 10 days' journey from Thebes are the Amunians, whose temple is derived from that of the Theban Zeus. Okay. So this is the link between Egypt and West Africa. Okay. But the migration of the Ethiopians or the Amunians started from Thebes. That's what you have to understand. Okay. Because Thebes was the greatest and most powerful city of the ancient world, and it sent out colonies. And speaking of here, the colonies that went west. Okay. And it says here from Algila, okay, which is west of Siwa, okay. And he says from Algila at a distance again of 10 days journey, there is another hill of salt and a spring of water and a great number of fruit-bearing date palms, as there are also in other places. And men dwell here who are called Garamantians or Garamantes, okay, a very great nation. So it's saying here that it mentions here a people known as the Garamantes or the Garamantians, who were a very large nation, okay, meaning they inhabited pretty much all the region west of the Nile River, okay, and we have to keep in mind the Garamantians, okay, which or the Garamantes is another word for the Amenti mentioned in Egyptian hieroglyphs, and these Garamantes were the indigenous Hamites who were already there, okay, and I'm going to show later that they were also mixed with the Amunians, okay, or Ethiopians, which is what I'm going to show. But these were the indigenous people of Western Africa. We see here they are called a very great nation, meaning they inhabited the majority or almost all of Africa west of the Nile River, okay? And these were the people that the Amunians mixed with, or should I say the indigenous Hamites who were already there, okay? Okay. And it says here, from the Garamantians, at a distance again of 10 days journey, there is another hill of salt and spring of water, and men dwell around it called Atarantians, okay? And it says, and this is referring to the area of southern Algeria, that area. And after this, at a distance of 10 days journey, there is another hill of salt and a spring of water, and man dwelling around it. Near this salt hill is a mountain named Atlas. After this, these men got their name, for they are called Atlanteans. Okay, so we see here, west of the Garamantians are these people called the Atarantians and the Atlanteans, which was the southern part of Morocco. Okay, and this was the westernmost or the western end of North Africa. Okay, the westernmost part of North Africa. So we see here that the indigenous tribes, okay, who were already there, who dwelt west of the Amunians, were known as the Garamantians, Atarantians, okay, and the Atlanteans, okay. So, and here's another interesting part. We're going to go to Herodotus, the Histories, book 4, chapter 197. He says, I have this much further to say of this country. 4 nations and no more, as we know, inhabit it, 2 of which are aboriginal and 2 not. The Libyans in the north and the Ethiopians in the south of Libya are aboriginal. The Phoenicians and Greeks are later settlers, okay? When it speaks of the Phoenicians and Greeks, it is talking about the Phoenicians of Carthage. And when it speaks of the Greeks, it is talking about the Greeks of Cyrene, which is close to Egypt, the Libya close to Egypt, okay? But he says here, the Libyans in the north, okay, meaning the North Libyans on the sea coast and the Ethiopians in the south are aboriginal. Now, when he mentions the Ethiopians, he is referring to the people that I just got through mentioning, okay, which were the Amunians, okay, because as we just read, the Amunians were a colony of Egyptians and Ethiopians, okay, as we just read here, okay, and the Amunians do so also after their example, being settlers from both the Egyptians and from the Ethiopians. But in book 4, 197, okay, it groups all of them, the Amunians, the Garamantes, the Atarantes, and the Atlanteans as Ethiopians, okay? Okay, so they have different names. They are called Garamantes, they're called Atlanteans, but they are also called Ethiopians. They are grouped as Ethiopians, okay? And these are the Ethiopians dwelling in the Sahara. I'm going to touch on the Ethiopians who dwelt farther south as well. But this shows you that the Ethiopians also dwelt north of the Sahara, okay? From Siwa to the Atlas Mountains. This is who it is referring to, okay? So he groups all those people as Ethiopians. And we notice, we also have to keep in mind, okay, that he distinguishes, Herodotus distinguishes here in book 4, 181. He says, thus then have been mentioned those nomad Libyans who live along the seacoast, okay? So he distinguishes the Ammonians and the Garamantes from the Libyans. Notice he never calls them Libyan. He never called them a Libyan tribe, okay? But he says, and he also places them inland towards the south. And according to book 4, 197, as we just read, the people towards the south or inland, okay, are Ethiopians, okay? The Libyans in the north and the Ethiopians in the south of Libya are Aboriginal. So he's saying that those people inland, the Ammonians, the Garamantes, and the Atlanteans, they were grouped as Ethiopians. They were Ethiopians. They were not even Libyan tribes. That's what Herodotus is saying here, okay? Okay, we have to keep in mind. First, he never calls them Libyan tribes, and he places them towards the south, inland. And here he is calling them Ethiopians, okay? He is grouping them as Ethiopian, okay? So when it says Ethiopian, okay, that is their Egyptian origin. That is referring to the Egyptian that is mixed with them. Because as I just read earlier, Ethiopian is the same as Ammonian, same people. Ammonian, Egyptian, same people, yes. Keep that in your mind, okay? Same people living in the same region, okay? Ammonian, okay? A colony of Egyptians and Ethiopians. So we see here that those Mizraim, or the sons of Mizraim who came into Libya, those Egyptians in Libya were the Ethiopians to the south, yes. So that's what the book of Genesis chapter 10 and 13 is talking about. When it says Egyptians begot Libya, or Egyptians or Mizraim settled Libya, okay? Inhabited Libya, or colonies, a colony from Mizraim inhabited Libya, it is referring to the Ethiopians, aka the Ammonians, aka the southern Egyptians. That's who it is referring to. Okay, it is not referring to the Libyans. It is referring to the people to the south, okay, which was the majority of Libya. We have to keep that in mind. So we see here the truth is coming out. Okay, so let's go to the chat. Okay, welcome everybody. Okay, I will take some questions in a little bit here. So we see here that those Mizraim, the sons of Mizraim, who begot Libyan and Anamim, okay, were the people south of Libya, okay? And when I say south, I mean south as in the interior of Libya and further south, okay, as beyond the Sahara Desert, okay? So we see here, now that we got an understanding, Genesis 10, chapter 13, and Mizraim begot Ladin and Anamim and Lehabim and Naphtuhim, okay? So the Egyptians who begot or settled in the land of Ladin, Anamim, or in Lehabim or Libya were the southern peoples of Libya, okay? Not the northern people of Libya. That's what you have to understand. So we just found out that those Egyptians in Libya were the people south of Libya. That's what you have to understand. The Ammonians, the Garamantians, okay? And the Ethiopians, who are all grouped as Ethiopians, okay? So we see here Herodotus, he breaks them down into four indigenous tribes: Ammonians, Garamantes, okay, Atarantians, and Atlanteans. Okay, that is their original name, their indigenous name, but they are grouped as Ethiopians, okay, because they came from Egypt. That's what you have to understand. The Ethiopians were the worshipers of Amun, and the worship of Amun originated in the city of Amun in what is known today as Thebes or Waset or Luxor, in southern Egypt. That is where these Ethiopians originated from. Okay, these Armenians, Ethiopians, same people. Okay, so that's what it's saying. Well, let's continue here. Okay, so now that we see here, and this is not the end. I'm going to make further videos, more videos as well about this. Okay, and those are dealing with the northern parts of the Sahara Desert. Okay, those are the northern Ethiopians, who dwelt south of the Sahara. Okay, south of the Mediterranean Sea, from the oases, from the southern oases of Egypt to the south of Morocco in Mauritania. That's what it's referring to. And let us go here. Okay, and these are also a people of Libya. Okay, which was talking about the Ethiopians farther south. Okay, Herodotus, the Histories, Book 3, Chapter 114. As one passes the southwest, the Ethiopian land is that which extends furthest of all inhabited lands towards the sunset. This produces both gold in abundance, and huge elephants, and trees of all kinds growing wild and ebony, and men who are of all men the tallest, most beautiful, and most long-lived. These are the extremities in Asia and in Libya. Okay, so Herodotus here is referring to the long-lived Ethiopians, or the Microbians. Okay, so where did these people dwell? Okay, so we're going to deal with this. Okay, the Microbians. Now, the Microbians, which I will touch on later, but it is referring to the flowing of the Niger River, which I spoke on an earlier video. But as you can see, the map here, okay, this is the territory of the Microbians right here. This is the map of the Niger River, which I will touch on later. But this is the territory of the Microbians. You see, the Microbians were the farthest and last people of Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, Herodotus based his geography of Ethiopia on the flowing of this river, which he thought was connected to the Nile River, but it was not. But he is still referring to this river, which he calls the Nile of Libya. And we see here the Microbians dwelt near the source. And we see here north is uninhabited desert, no river. See, Herodotus thought the river flowed through this desert, but it didn't. Only this part, the northern part of this river flowed through the desert. But the rest, the source of the river rose from the southwest, okay, which was the land of the Microbians spoken of by Herodotus. And he speaks of a river flowing from west to east, as we see here, okay? But this is all Ethiopian territory, okay? So, and the Microbians were an Ethiopian race. So we see here that they are also related to those same Ethiopians or sons of Mizraim, or the Armenians dwelling to the north, okay? That's what you have to understand, okay? Now, I will I will touch on in a future video of how this migration came about, but yeah, this is what it's talking about as of right now. Let us look at some maps here, okay? So now that we have read the text, we're gonna touch on some maps, okay? So, and here's the map, okay? Here's the map for the descendants of Ham and their location. So you see here Ham, I place Ham right near the source of the Nile River, okay? We see here Cush, okay? The original Cush, or the land of the original Cushites, dwelt here, okay? In Lake, what is known today as Lake Victoria, okay, in modern day Uganda. This was the area of the original Cushites where the Nile River, where the source of the Nile River is, okay? When I showed you the Microbians, they dwelt near the source of the Niger River. But this is the real source of the Nile River, Uganda. Okay, this is where the original Cushites dwelt. And from here, they went north okay, into northern Sudan, as we see here, Somalia was also Sabian territory, yes. Okay. Saba and the Sabians in southern Arabia here, as you see, okay, Saba, and also the city, the place that we know today as Meroe or Meroe was also called Saba, yes. And Josephus Flavius also mentions this as well, and we're gonna go to that briefly, okay. Let's go here, okay. Let's touch on that, okay. So you can get a better understanding of the real Meroe. Now the Meroe or Meroe was not the real name, okay. So we see here, and he says, we're gonna start from here, okay. Josephus says, okay, Josephus and Antiquities of the Jews, book 2, 243, and he says, okay, we're gonna go straight to it. He says, by the means of Moses, they did not slacken their diligence, in so much that the Ethiopians were in danger of being reduced to slavery and all sorts of destruction. And at length they retired to Saba, which was a royal city of Ethiopia, which Cambyses afterwards named Meroe, okay, after the name of his own sister, okay. So we see here, according to Josephus, the original name, the true name of what we know today as Meroe was Saba. And these were also Sabians, Cushites, okay, the people of Meroe. So Meroe, and it also says here that it was named by Cambyses, okay. Now, this is not true, okay, because first of all, according to Herodotus, Cambyses, the Persian king, never set foot in this area. So this was just a interpolation that was made up by later Greek geographers such as Diodorus Siculus and Strabo. Okay, they called it Meroe and said it was founded by Cambyses, but that's not true. That is a inaccurate interpolation that was invented by the later geographers who came after Herodotus, such as Diodorus Siculus and Strabo. But Meroe, so we shouldn't even be calling it Meroe or Meroe, because that's not the real name for it, okay. And I will also touch in another video that Meroe or Meroe was actually in another location, okay. It was not this location, because this right here, the Meroe of Herodotus was very far from Egypt, but this area was close to Egypt, okay. The modern day Meroe that we know today, it was close to Egypt, and it was also near Napata, okay. So the Meroe that we see today was not even the real Meroe, okay, or Meroe, okay, and it should have never been called Meroe. It should have been called Saba. That's what Josephus is saying here, that the original name was Saba, the son of Cush, the sons of Cush, okay. That's the original name for the city of so-called Meroe or Meroe. And no, Meroe or Meroe was not founded by Cambyses, okay? Because we see that more likely it was founded by the people of Napata when their city was destroyed in the 1st century BCE by the Roman general named Gaius Petronius, okay? That's who founded Meroe, but it was not founded by Cambyses, okay? That is a lie, because Cambyses never set foot in this area, okay? And this area was not Meroe. The real name was Saba, okay? As we just read here, okay? And it says the place was to be besieged with very great difficulty, since it was both encompassed by the Nile quite around, and other rivers. The Astabas and the Astabaras River made it very, very difficult, okay? So the Astabas is the White Nile, and the Astabaras is the Atbara River we know of today, okay? Which is where the river, the Nile splits into 2 rivers, okay? So we see here that Meroe was, the original name was Saba, okay? And let us take a look at some maps here, okay? So we see here, okay? Ham, Cush. Okay, when it says Cush, the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, it's talking about the flowing of the Nile River from Cush to Egypt, okay, to Phut in the west and to Canaan towards the east. That's what it's referring to, okay? That's what you have to understand. And we see here that the tribes of Phut dwelt, who were the Libyans, of course, see, according to the map, okay? The truth is in the map, okay? I just read the text. Now you're seeing the truth in the map, and you can do your own research, okay? It says Mizraim, okay? The Hamites, Mizraim, the Microbians, okay? Meaning the southern people of Libya. The southern people of Libya were the descendants of Mizraim. So in other words, the southern people of Libya were the indigenous Hamites who were already there, the children of the soil, and a mixture of the sons of Mizraim, okay, who from Egypt migrated west and mixed amongst these Hamites, the Microbians, and these people, and the Atlanteans, okay, and they became known as Ethiopians. They were grouped as Ethiopians. So the original Ethiopians were the Ammonians, okay, from Egypt, okay, and they mixed amongst these people, and that's how they became the Ethiopians. So that's what you have to understand, okay? The southern parts of Libya was settled by the sons of Mizraim, okay? Okay, and we see here that Libya was all the land west of the Nile River. So Libya could also be west of Uganda as well, because it is referring to the land west of the Nile River. That's what Libya means, okay? And let's look at another map here, okay? And we're going to take some questions, okay? So we see here, okay? Look at here. But let's take a look at this map. Okay, this is from another source. Okay, this was not made by me. This is but it's showing here also that Ham. Okay, see, according to this map. Now this was made by someone else. Okay, this is not my map. Okay, and it's see here, it places Havilah in East Africa, near the Horn of Africa. Okay, and see Seba, Cush. East of the Nile River, okay, Sheba, Sabta, all Sabian territory, east of the Nile River, okay, Dedan, east of the Nile River, and you see Cush along the Nile River, okay. That is someone else's map. That is not my map, okay. My map deals with all of Africa, okay. Okay, all of Africa, west of the Nile River, were descendants of Mizraim, okay, and all of Africa east of the Nile River were descendants of Cush. And here's the map showing the migration of Mizraim, okay? Genesis 10 and 6. Okay, you see here, the sons of Mizraim migration map. And we see here that the migration started from Aswan, the southern part of Egypt, okay, which is the original Egypt, okay? Because we have to keep in mind the original Egyptians originated in the southern part of Egypt that borders Cush, because before there was Egypt, there was Cush. The ancestors of the Egyptians were the Cushites, okay? And we see here that Egypt started in the southernmost part of Egypt, okay? That's what you have to understand. So we see here from southern Egypt, they went north, okay, to Thebes, and from Thebes they went north to the Delta in Memphis, as we see here, okay. And when they rose to power in the 18th dynasty, they went south to Cush in Napata and founded Napata, okay. Now, when it mentions in the book of Genesis, chapter 10, 13, as Naphtuhim, as the son of Mizraim, it is referring to Napata, okay, Napata, okay. You take the A out of Napata, you get Nafta, okay, Naphtuhim. That's who it's referring to, okay. And we see here that is referring to Napata because Napata was founded by Egyptians. Yes, the capital of the 25th dynasty was founded by Egyptians during the reign of Thutmose III. Okay, that's what you have to understand. So let us go to the ancient records of Egypt here. Okay, and then I'm going to touch on this, and we're gonna take some questions. Now, I just want to show you, okay, that the Egyptians, yes, they did reach the west during the 18th dynasty, but they dwelt there, but they never built any temples. Now, let us go here, okay? This is from the Ancient Records of Egypt, okay, volume 3, the 18th dynasty, page 295. And it's from the stela of Intef, the herald of Amenhotep II, okay? I'm sorry, the herald of Thutmose III. He says, okay, we read here, it says, stela of Intef, the herald. This splendid stela was erected by the royal herald of Thutmose III, whose important offices were the following, okay? And it reads here, hereditary, prince and count, companion, great in love, count of Thinis, of the Thinite nome, lord of the entire Oasis region, great herald of the king. So we see here that the Egyptians, okay, that they also had control in the territory of the Oasis region was their territory. Okay, he says lord of the entire Oasis region. Okay, so this means that the Oasis region was the territory of the Egyptians. Okay, and it is through this Oasis region how they reached West Africa. And this was also a caravan road that was mentioned later on, which I will touch on in another video. But we see here he says lord of the entire Oasis region. Yes, he is talking about all of the oases west of the Nile River, okay, from Siwa all the way to the Atlantic or to Morocco, okay, south of Atlas. Those oasis regions was inhabited by Egyptians, okay, and it was also inhabited by the indigenous Hamites or Garamantes, as we just read, and the Egyptians dwelt amongst them, okay. So he's saying lord of the entire Oasis region, not some of the Oasis regions, but the entire Oasis region, okay, meaning the southern, the Atlas, all of the Oasis region was Egyptian territory, okay. And we're going to go here, okay, and we're going to read again, okay, from Intef, okay. Let's go here so we can get an understanding. Okay, page 295. All right. But yeah, that pretty much proves that. Okay, just bear with me here. Okay, it says Lord of the entire Oasis region, showing you that the Egyptians, they reached and occupied also the Oasis region. Okay, and he says here, okay, the same. Okay, and this is on page 298. Okay, Ancient Records of Egypt, page 298. It says here, talking about Intef, okay, says count of Thinis, of the Thinite nome. Let's blow it up some more. Count of Thinis of the Thinite nome, chief of all the Oasis country, okay, excellent scribes, solving writings, Intef triumphant. So he says here, chief of all the Oasis country, meaning all of the oases in Africa, okay, all of the oases west of Egypt, meaning the oases of Libya, the oases of Algeria, and the oases of southern Morocco. So it's talking about, it's really referring to the southern oases, as I just showed, okay, because the northern parts or the northern oases were inhabited by the Libyans or the descendants of Phut, but the southern oases, okay, from Egypt all the way to Atlas, that's what it's talking about. Chief of all the Oasis country was inhabited and was Egyptian territory. That's what it's saying. Okay, so now we looked at the maps. Okay, we see the migration of the descendants of Mizraim, okay, which was southern Libya, as we see here. Okay, they went south to Napata. Okay, and let's also deal with that as well. Okay, let's go to I'm going to mention where they reached Cush as well. Okay, so we can get it from the source, so we won't have to make anything up based on our own imagination. Okay, and okay, so let us go here. I'm going to go to the ancient records of Egypt again. And where is that quote? Okay. Okay. Okay, for Napata. Okay, there we go. So we see here, okay. He mentions Napata. And this is from the tomb of Hugh of the 18th dynasty. And this is Ancient Records of Egypt, page 421. Okay, and he says, the overseer of the White House, he says, this is a seal from Pharaoh, who assigns to thee the territory from Nekin to Napata. Okay, so we just read that the Egyptian territory from east to west was from southern Egypt, Thinis, and Thebes to all the Oasis region towards the west. Okay, which ended at the Atlantic. But here he's saying that the overseer of the White House, he says, this is a seal from the Pharaoh who assigns to thee from the territory from Nekin to Napata. So it's saying here that Napata was the southernmost region of the Egyptians or Mizraim. Okay, but as we just read, that the Libyan territory was much larger and vaster. Okay, but they did not go further south of Napata. That's what you have to understand. Okay, and let us go here where it mentions Cush. Okay, you want to touch on that briefly? Okay, now it says here, this is from 18th dynasty. Okay, the Sahel inscription, Ancient Records of Egypt, volume 3, page 32. It says the Sahel inscription. Okay, on arriving at the first cataract, the king found the canal of Sesostris III stopped up. Now, Sesostris was the first to conquer Cush and made Cush a Egyptian colony. Okay, or made Cush Egyptian territory. And he cleared it, and the viceroy made the following records. He says, year 3, first month of the 3rd season, day 22, under the majesty of King of Upper and Lower Egypt. Okay, Okepakara Tutmos I, who is given life. His majesty commanded to dig this canal after he found it stopped up with stones, so that no ship sail up on it. He sailed down the stream up on it, his heart glad, having slain his enemies. Okay, the king's son, Thuri. And he says, year 3, the first month of the 3rd season, day 22, his majesty sailed this canal in victory and in power at his return from overthrowing the wretched Cush. Okay, so we see here that it's talking about the conquest of Cush, and Tutmos I, his army sailed south to Cush and conquered Cush and made Cush Egyptian territory. And as we just read, that territory stretched far as Napata. Okay, Napata, the capital of the 25th dynasty. Okay, but let us take one more look at the map here. Okay, we see here. Okay, from Thebes they went west to Ammon. Okay, and from Ammon, okay, they took the road. They took the caravan road. Now this road, I will call it the Ammon road, the road of Ammon, the road that went from Egypt to West Africa. Okay, it's known as the road of Ammon. Okay, that is the starting point. That is the pinpoint. Okay, that is the link between Egypt and West Africa. So he says from Ammon, okay, and they went farther west to the Garamantes, okay, further west to the Atlanteans, okay, and Atlas, and further southwest towards Mauritania and the Microbians on near the Niger River, okay? Okay, this is the territory of the descendants of Mizraim here, okay? The truth, the whole truth is in this map, okay? They did not settle one small portion of Libya. They settled all of Libya west of the Nile River. Yes, and this map shows it, okay? And as we just showed, okay? Now, although we don't get much information of a migration, okay? The truth is in the fact that the people to the far west were called the same thing as those people to the far east, near south of Egypt and west of Egypt, which is Ethiopians. Okay, and that's all you need to know. Okay, the original Ethiopians originated in the east and they went west. Okay, that's the whole truth lies in that. Okay, you don't have to know anything else. Okay, and there is a migration, okay, of this, but I will touch on that in another video. So now let's get to some questions here. Okay, so now that we just found out, okay, we read the text, we looked at the maps, we see here that Mizraim, the sons of Mizraim, okay, the Egyptians of Libya dwelt south of Libya, the southern people, okay, and as according to the other map, okay, let's have a look at the other map, okay, so you can get a look at it. You don't want to rush anything, okay. The other map, where is that map? Okay, okay. You see here that the tribes of Phut, okay, well, the Libyans, all up on the entire, okay, not some, okay, now that's what you have to remember. The pseudo scholars, the one who want to hide the truth away from you, try to apply this region, place the descendants of Ham and Phut and Mizraim only in only a small part of Africa. But we see here, no, it was not that, because if that was the case, then Herodotus and the ancient Greek geographers would not have called these people to the west Libyans and Ethiopians. Okay, he would have called them something else, but he's saying that they were the same because they all came from a common ancestor. Okay, the Ethiopians originated from southern Egypt in the east, and the Libyans originated in eastern Libya. Okay, but they were all the same people, okay. The tribes of Phut dwelling here north of Libya on the coast, and the descendants of Mizraim dwelling south of Libya. Okay, so that's what you have to understand, because you also have to remember the Nile River, okay, flows from the southern interior region. So of course, the descendants of Mizraim who went west will dwell in the southern parts of Libya, okay, because the Nile River stretches deep into the south. Okay, that's what you have to understand. But the coast, the Mediterranean coast from east to west, okay, is all northern territory. That's what you have to understand. Okay, and it doesn't go south until you get to the Atlantic. Okay, and these people south of the Atlantic came from the southern Nile River. Okay, so you got here from the southern Nile, and we also have to keep in mind that the migration, when it says the descendants of Mizraim, or the sons of Mizraim, or Mizraim, okay, begot or settled Libya, the migration started from the southern part of Egypt, okay, and Cush as well. Okay, so we got a migration from the southern part, which goes into Siwa or the Ammonians in southern Libya, the Hamites, all the way to the Niger River in the South Atlantic. Okay, that's what the map shows. That's what the history says, and that is the truth. Okay. And the reason why the pseudo scholars try to leave the rest of Africa out, because they have an agenda. Okay. Their intention is to lie. They're trying to exclude you out on purpose. Okay. That's what you have to understand. So we may have some newcomers in the building. So for the newcomers, yes. Now you can go over, you can watch the video again where I read the text, but here's the map. Okay. For the newcomers, this is where all the tribes of Phut and tribes of sons of descendants of Mizraim and Cush dwelt at. Okay. So we see here the descendants of Mizraim dwelt west of the Nile in the land of Libya or Lehabim or Labim, and the descendants of Phut, okay, dwelt northwest on the Mediterranean Sea or west of Egypt, and the descendants of Cush dwelt east of the Nile River, okay, from the Red Sea coast of Africa to Arabia, okay. So the descendants of Cush went east of the Nile River, okay, as we just learned, and the descendants of Mizraim from southern Egypt went west of the Nile River and populated, okay, the Oasis region all the way to the Niger River, okay, who were known in history as the Ethiopians, mentioned by Herodotus, Diodorus Siculus, and Strabo. Those were your descendants of Mizraim, okay? That is the truth. So we just learned that, okay? So let's answer some questions here, okay? So we've been going on for 1 hour and 46 minutes, and we're going to try to keep it under 2 hours. So yeah, so let's answer some questions here. Just a minute. So yes, I'm back. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, let's get back into camera mode here. So now, as we just read, okay, I'm back, Brother Radio 1 here. Now we just learned that when we go by the original histories, okay, and do not allow the racism, the lies, and the corruption of the modern day pseudo history, okay, or the modern day pseudo historian, we will see that the descendants of Mizraim dwelt west of the Nile River, and the descendants of Cush dwelt east of the Nile River, okay? So we can balance out and come to an understanding of who was who in Africa, okay? So the East Africans, such as the Somalians and Ethiopians, you know, won't be saying that you West Africans have nothing to do with Egypt. We see here that that is a lie, okay? Your ancestors were the Cushites. Our ancestors were the Egyptians. But what do we all have in common? We're all Africans. We're all Hamites. That's what you have to understand. And some of you may say that by doing this, I'm causing division. No, the division is already there. And the division is there because of this lie. That West Africans have nothing to do with Nile Valley civilization. And that lie there causes the division, because that causes the East Africans to feel that they are better than West Africans. Okay, and Nile Valley civilization belongs to them, and it has nothing to do with those West Africans. So therefore, we are better than West Africans, and we don't want to have nothing to do with them. Yes, that's the division you have right now, okay? But what I'm doing, bringing this truth out, okay, I'm bringing the unification, okay? I'm unifying Africans by bringing this truth out, okay? Okay, by showing that East and West Africans have more in common than they think, okay? But it is this lie that causes the division. The lie that West Africans have no ties to Nile Valley civilization. Okay, that is what causes the division. That is what makes a Somalian or Ethiopian thinks they are better than a West African or African American. Okay, that is what causes a Somali or Ethiopian to look down on West Africans and African Americans, because of this lie that West Africans and African Americans have no connection to Nile Valley civilization. But when this truth comes out, that, and as I just showed, and I will show some more, I'm not going to give up on it, but we see here that as this truth comes out, this will actually unify East Africans, West Africans, and African Americans, because we see that we come from a common ancestor. Okay, we are not just Hamites or indigenous Africans, but we are also tied together and unified together by the Nile Valley civilization of Egypt and Cush as well. Okay, because Egypt was founded by Cushites, okay, or Hamites from Cush. That's what they were before they became Egypt. Okay, so you have to understand, okay, when we stay in the chronological order, before there was ever temples, pyramids, and statues, there was only Hamites or indigenous Africans dwelling along the Nile River. Okay, and so we have two things that connects or unifies the East Africans and West Africans and African Americans. One, we are both Hamites, indigenous Africans, and we are also Egyptians and Cushites, okay, from the Nile Valley, because the Egyptians, as I showed, went west and settled West Africa, and the Cushites went east and settled East Africa, okay, and some Egyptians also went south to Napata, okay, and that is the truth that connects us. And African Americans, believe me when I tell you, when you go out into the public, when this truth gets out, which it will get out, which is getting out now, but it will get out more. But when you go out into the public, or whether if you're at the university and you see another Somalian or Ethiopian brother and sister, you're going to see them respect you more, because they're going to see that they are going to know that you two have more in common do you think. Okay, we are West Africans and East Africans and African Americans are tied, are connected by both being indigenous Hamite African and being descendants of Nile Valley civilization. Yes, yes. And that is a fact. Okay. The Egyptians sent out colonies all through the interior parts of Africa, west of the Nile River. Yes, that was all Egyptian territory. Okay, now the modern day scholar or the pseudo scholar will try to place, okay, will try to count all Egyptian territory where the temples and pyramids sit. Okay, but we see here, according to history, that's not true. Okay, the territory of Egypt, the Egyptian territory was all the land where the Egyptians set foot at and settled at, which was all of Africa west of the Nile River to the Atlantic Ocean, including West Africa and the Niger River. That was all Egyptian territory. Okay, so there you have it. Your white Egyptologists, they lie. They're liars. They can't even accept the facts and the evidence that they discovered that's right in front of them. They will lie about that. Okay, but I just told you the truth about it, and I will tell more truth. But let's get into some questions, and we're going to end it off here. Okay, so we got a question from Puntite General. Taharka says, read the questions all the way to the top, radio. Yes. Welcome to Taharka. Okay. So we got a couple of new people. Okay. So we're going to start with Taharka's question. He says, do you know anything about the Jebel? Do you know anything about the Jebel Ramia cemetery? It's known to be the progenitors of the Barbarian culture, and is located between the Sudanese border. Yes, I heard about that. I will have to do more research about it. Yes, but I do know about that. And I will probably do a video on it when I expand my research. But yeah, that's very interesting. As Taharka says, those borders didn't exist in antiquity. Yes, that is correct, Taharka. Yes. What Taharka is saying, that those borders, meaning okay, such as Niger and Mali and all that, they didn't exist back then. There were no borders. Okay, the only border was the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so the western border of Egypt, okay, was not Libya. Okay, it was the Atlantic Ocean. It was not the modern day Libya we see today. Okay, which is the eastern border of Algeria. Okay, the true western border of Egypt, of the Egyptian territory back then, was the Atlantic Ocean. Yes, that's where it ended. And all of that territory from the Nile River to the Atlantic Ocean was Libya, ancient Libya. So ancient Libya was much more larger than the modern day Libya of today. Okay, so yes, that is correct. And when we look on the map, they have the western border of Egypt as Libya, or modern day Libya, or where the Temple of Siwa is. But that's not true. Okay, the western border of ancient Egypt, okay, the ancient western border was the Atlantic Ocean. That's what you have to understand. Okay. And he says, Taharka says, Kermer pottery and the Badari pottery are basically the same pottery. Just shows that this is a Nile Valley culture. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Thank you for that, Brother Taharka. Yes, yes, that proves it all right there. Yes, that is definitely a fact. Okay, the Kermer pottery and the Badara pottery are the same, because it shows that, okay, that the pre-dynastic Egyptians were Cushites. Yes, they were Cushites. So yes, thanks for that, Brother Taharka. Thanks for bringing that up. That is very, very factual. Yes. And people, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button, show your brother some love. Yes, all it takes is one click. Okay, so we got 7 people in the house. So yeah, just click the like button, and that way that helps this video gets out more. And that way, when this video gets out more people will know the truth. Okay, and more people will spread the truth to others. Okay, so that's the importance. Okay, so that's why I say it doesn't matter how many people I am talking to. As long as I'm talking to somebody is going to know this truth. Okay, and that's what's important. Okay, okay, but yeah, you know, I'm working on that. You know, I don't have a big major channel like Tariq Nasheed or Young Pharaoh and all these other guys, but hey, you know, where 7,000 people is tuning in, but hey, 50 people, 60 people, that's good enough, because by this truth getting out to 50 or 60 people, okay, that can make it where to 1,000 people know this truth because of those 50, 60 people, and 1,000 people will turn into 100,000 people and to 1 million people. Okay, so that's what's important. Okay, but let's continue here. But yes, that's very interesting, Brother Taharka. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That is fact. Okay, that the pre-dynastic Egyptians and pre-dynastic Cushites at Kermer were the same. Okay. Says Taharka says the incense burner, which was found in Ta City, predates the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt by Narmer, a minimum of 200 years. Yes, that is a fact. Yes, you are absolutely correct. Yes, the original kings of the South, or the founders of Egypt, or the wearers of the white crown, originated in the area of Kustul or Ta City. Yes, that is a fact, Taharka. And I will do a video probably on my new channel, getting more in depth into that as well, and debunking the weak and pseudo theories that try to goes against it. Yeah, because they have some weak theories that try to go against that. Okay, and it doesn't debunk it. It's just a theory. Okay, because there was, Taharka says, they recently showed that a official from the 8th dynasty found in Aswan named Shammai had Nubian ancestry. Yeah, I believe I read about that once. I have to do some more research on that. That is interesting. Thanks for Brother Taharka. So Shammai of the 18th dynasty, I got him. Okay, I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna note that so I can do more research on it. Okay, Shammai of the 8th dynasty. Okay, all right. Found in Aswan. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, he says, Taharka says that's where the pharaonic culture began. Yes, correct. That is correct, Taharka. Okay, Taharka says the 25th dynasty was the first to wear the double uraeus crown. Yes, I seen that. And all of the 25th dynasty wear that double uraeus crown, and it's also stated in the Jebel Barka stela that the mountain of Jebel Barka was the home of the god Amun. Okay, and the mountain of Jebel Barka represents the Uraeus. Okay, very interesting. Yeah. So Brother Taharka know his stuff. All right. Yes. Yes. I love it. Okay. Kushite General says Malau is Somalia. Oh, okay. Yes. As Malau as close to the Avalites. Yes. Yes, that would be near, in the region of Somalia. Yes, indeed. It says here, Taharka says the land of Punt is located in the Horn of Africa, and they look very identical to the so-called Egyptians, and the Hyksos look nothing like the so-called Egyptians at all. The Hyksos are Bin Laden people. Yes, that is correct. That is the point I've been trying to make all along. Yes. Okay. Those who say that the Asiatics and the Libyans are closer to the Egyptians than the sub-Saharan Africans. No, that is a lie. It is the other way around. Okay. The Asiatics look nothing like the Egyptians. Okay. Their phenotype look nothing like the Egyptians. They have full beards. Their clothes are different from the Egyptians. Nothing about them is Egyptian. Okay. And even the Tinahu or the Timahu, the Libyans, also look different from the Egyptians. The people who looked the closest to the Egyptians were the people of Punt to the south and the people of Cush to the south. Okay. They wore the same clear white kilts or garments. Okay. They were the same dark skin color. Okay. And also the Egyptians originated from that area. They came from the south. Okay. So that shows you they're not only did they look like each other, but they originated from the same land. Okay. The Egyptians came from that same region. Okay. So they looked like each other. They wore identical clothes. And Egyptians also saw Nubia as was so connected to Cush that they built temples there. They didn't build temples anywhere else. Okay. So yes, that is correct. That is correct, Brother Taharka. Yes. Okay. Hark said Queen Almas Nefertari from the 18th dynasty is a Nilotic because she's always depicted as having the same skin color as South Sudanese. Yes, that is correct. Yes. Queen Almas Nefertari, the founding queen of the 18th dynasty, yes, was as black as the Nubians to the south. But she was Egyptian. Okay. She was Egyptian. Okay, but she was black as the Nubians of the south, but still Egyptian. Okay. Puntite General says ancient Egyptians were purely Somali stock from the land of Punt, as they said it themselves. No theory. Yes, they originated from that region, from the land of Punt, which I showed. Okay, which the area of Cush. Okay, the southern part of Cush. Okay, yes. Why it's so hard to say ancient Egyptians were only Somali people stock? Why? Why do they have to be different Africans from the continent? Well, okay, to answer your question, truthfully, brother Puntite General, okay? Now, what I'm saying is the Egyptians, the ancestors of the Egyptians originated from that area of Punt. And that is why they look so much like the Punt. But, okay, the ancestors, but the descendants, okay, as the Bible says, okay, that the ancestors, meaning Ham, the father of the Egyptians, were the Hamites of Cush. Okay, they came from the region of Cush. They're talking about the ancestors of the Egyptians. Okay, you can't confuse the ancestors with the descendants. And as I just read from Genesis chapter 10:13, the descendants of the Egyptians, okay, or the sons of Mizraim, meaning the descendants, okay, went west, okay, begot Libya, settled Libya in the west. That is the connection that other Africans have to the Egyptians, okay? The other Africans are mixed with the descendants of the Egyptians. That's what you have to understand, okay? But, and that's why you find no temples there, okay? And that's why the Egyptians look so much like the people of Punt, because they are, the people of Punt were their ancestors, okay? And that's why they look so much alike, because that is the area where the Egyptians originated from. Okay, their ancestors were purely of Kushite stock. Okay, that's why they look that way. Okay, so keep that in mind, brother Puntite General. We're not taking anything away from you or away from the Somalians or the Horn of Africans by saying we are also connected to Egypt. Okay, we are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians. Okay, your land is the ancestors of the ancient Egyptians. That's what you have to understand. Okay, and that's why we may look a little different. Okay, not that much different. Okay, because there's a lot of African Americans who look Somali. Okay, a lot of African Americans who look Ethiopian, such as myself. Okay, I can pass for Ethiopian, and I'm always mistaken for Oromo. So I can go to Ethiopia and pass for a Oromo, because these people settled amongst the indigenous Africans who were already there. And that's why some of us look the same as Somalians, Ethiopians, Nubians, okay, those people. Okay, because you can't take away the Western African connection. You can't do it. Okay, and the reason why you're going by that is because of the lie you was told by the white racists. Okay, now I don't even blame the East Africans. I blame the white racists for producing this lie. So those are the originators of this lie, and that causes confusion. Yes. So let's do. Okay, we got a question from Mawantu Wa Nagoma, because DNA results reveal different data. Okay, Watu Nagoma, all 18 dynasty mummies are E1 B1A. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yes. Okay. Yes, because E1 B1A, according to the DNA studies, is a sub-Saharan DNA. So yes, I agree with that. Says Mwata Nagama, Puntite General, you are wrong. There was never DNA results of any ancient Egyptians being E1 B1A. Well, according to the DNA results of Ramesses, okay, he had E1 B1A. So but as I, for those of you who know me, I care a little for DNA studies, and that's just my stance on it. I focus, I'm more pro history than DNA. Okay, so it's pretty much okay that okay, you guys chatting with each other. Puntite General says, I think the Microbians were located in West Africa, and they were definitely Fulanis. That's why they look like Somalis too. Well, we could say that the Microbians were mixed with different tribes in West Africa. But yes, the original Microbians, or the Ethiopians that came from Egypt, would have looked a lot like, you know, the Ethiopians and the Sudanese and Somalis and those people. Yes, and they mixed with the indigenous people who were already there. Okay. Puntai General says Somalia was never a Saba land. Well, I have to disagree with that. I believe all that territory was Sabian territory. And as time went by, you know, the name changed, to different Puanet, Somalia, and all that. You know, the name changed to Berber, Berenice, in that area. But that was all Sabian Kushite territory. Okay. And that also, I believe, also that included Somalia as well, because it mentions that Saba, or the Sabians, was the land where myrrh grows, myrrh and frankincense and cinnamon grows. Okay. And he says, I didn't know proof that the Microbians were Ethiopian, Eritreans, and Taraks, like I said. Okay. It's okay. Saba was northern Ethiopia, highland, and Eritrea stopped the BS. No foreigners has ever ruled or inhabited Somalia. Well, okay, yeah, well, that's your opinion. You know, if you want to say that, okay, Saba was the east coast on Eritrea. Okay, well, we can go with that. Okay, but yeah, but that was definitely the area of Saba, east of the Nile Valley, east of the Nile River, along the seacoast of Eritrea and Djibouti, in that area. So, if you want to go with that, okay, we can go with that. Okay. You are entitled to that opinion, but the truth is, Saba was east of the Nile River. Okay. So Puntai General says, really copy and paste the link and research the names and link. Okay, years ago on Who Were the Microbians by Jared 33 debunked Radio 1. No, I never got debunked. Okay. As a matter of fact, people thumbs up my comment, as being the most accurate comment of that video. So yes, I did not get debunked. Okay, I brought forth the truth. Okay, I debunked the lies. That's what happened. Okay, so says 1 second, I will post my evidence. Okay, so pretty much not that much questions. Okay, the Ethiopagi, as respectively seated on the east and west banks of the Nile, the latter people would have been the most available guys whom Cambyses could employ for. Okay, but yes, you also have to remember that the army of Cambyses was on the west bank of the Nile River the whole time. And from the west bank of the Nile River, they crossed the Western Desert from Thebes and from Cush. Okay, so that's where the Microbians dwelt. They dwelt west. Okay, and in the only sea, or southern sea, it speaks of you're going to reach going west of the Nile River is the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so that's what you have to understand. The Berbera was in the land of Tarak, and the second Berber was in the land of Somalia. Well, Puntai General, what you have to understand is the Berber country mentioned in the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea and by the Greeks is a Greek word mentioned by the Greeks, but the later Berbers of Libya, okay, the Berbers of today were called Berbers by the Arabs, okay, which was a name Berbera, or meaning barbarian. So two different words, okay. The Berbers of the Greeks was in Somalia. The Berbers of the western parts of Africa, of Libya, Algeria, and Morocco, was mentioned by the Arabs. Okay, so that is the Berbers of the Arabs. Now, the Arabs never called the people of Somalia Berbers. They call that the Sea of Zanj. So look it up. They call it the Zanj Sea. So two different Berbers. Okay. Ancient Egyptians still live in North Africa. Okay. Kushite general says knowledge. Okay. Taharka says Taharka was a general before he became, and he was only 20 years old when he fought the Assyrians at the Battle of Al-Tek. Yes, that is correct, Taharka. Yes. Okay. Irving Google says Egyptians love watermelon. Okay, just like the Moors. When are you going to Aswan? Yes, I plan on going next year. Yes, I plan on going to Aswan, Sudan, Northern Sudan, and Egypt next year. Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. Okay. When this pandemic madness is over with and everything opens back up, yes, I plan on going there next year. Because I don't want to go there during the pandemic because, you know, everything's going to be closed and, you know, people are going to want to keep their distance and, you know, and that'll make it a bad experience. And I don't want that. So when this pandemic is over with, then that's when I will go. Okay. Can anyone see my comments? Yes, we can see your comments, AA. Okay. Kushite general, the white races create confusion and corruption, but I do my own research. Well, Kushite general, I must say to be honest with you, you know, and debating you previously, okay, your beliefs that, or should I say, the beliefs of the Somalians, believing that West Africa has nothing to do with ancient Egypt, originated from the white races. So you have a long ways to go. Yeah, you have to do your own research and you have to stop following what these white races say, because that is what caused you to say that ancient Egypt and Cush only has to do with the East Africans and nothing with the West Africans, because that originates from the white races. Okay. And once you do your own research, you will find out that the West Africans also have ties to ancient Egypt and Cush. Okay. Okay. And yes, they do create confusion, and they are not to be listened to. The white races are the biggest liars on the planet. Okay. They are the fakest of all people. Okay. Yes, the white races, they want to steal everybody's history and culture. They want to be the Assyrians. They want to be the Persians. They want to be the Israelites. They want to be the Canaanites. They want to be the Philistines. They want to be the Egyptians. They want to be the Ethiopians. Okay. Everything but themselves. But in truth, they are the descendants of Japheth. Yes. They are the descendants of the Greeks and Romans, or the Gauls and the Celts. That is their true ancestors. They have nothing to do with the Assyrians, the Persians, the Israelites, the Egyptians, or the Ethiopians. Okay. The Egyptians, the Ethiopians, that is us. Okay. Has nothing to do with them. And that's why they are so jealous of us, and they always lying about us, because they're trying to deprive us. Okay. And they don't want us to know the truth. That's why independent research is important. Okay. Because they think, because they have power and authority, that they can also lie about history and tell history their way. No, it doesn't work that way. And trust me, very soon, they're not going to have that power and authority either. Once the people wake up to this truth and unite, yes, white supremacists are going to lose their power and authority. Okay. And stop. And they're going, and it's going to force them to stop lying about history. Okay. Because their power and authority is coming to an end. That is a fact. Okay. But that is up to you and me, black people. Okay. It is up to us to unite and bring an end to their power and authority. Okay. So that our race can live on, and so that history can survive. Okay. And not be whitewashed and erased by white supremacists. Okay. And that is why it is important that this truth comes out, so it won't be ignored and swept under the rug, so that the white racists can whitewash it and destroy it. Okay. That's what you have to understand. Okay. so that we can unify together as a power and one day overthrow and defeat these white supremacists, okay, and bring their power to an end so that we can rule this country, rule this planet, and do it the right way, okay? Because only the Black African man and woman can rule this country righteously, okay? The white man is not worthy of being a ruler of anything. The white man should be stripped of all power, okay? Because he is a liar by nature, he is a racist by nature, and he is the worst of worst, okay? And he has nothing to do with the original man, okay? We are the closest to the original man. We are the most righteous. We should therefore be ruling the country and ruling the earth, okay, and telling truth about history. And that is why it is important that you Black scholars, that you don't be a pseudo historian and be a liar like the white man, okay? So all of this pseudo history that tries to disconnect West Africa from Egypt or tries to whitewash ancient Egypt, we have to be against it, okay? We have to be 100% against it. We can't be like these other brainwashed Negroes who got a degree from a white college university, okay? These programmed and corrupt Negroes who can't tell the truth if their life depended on it, okay? All these pseudo squads, you know what squad I'm talking about, okay? All these fraud squads, okay? Entertaining, going by this white racist scholarship, white racist pseudo scholarship, and ignoring the ancient, oldest, original history and feeding you and selling you a lie, okay? Those we must ignore, okay? And if you're watching, if you're one of those pseudo scholars watching, okay, change your ways, okay? Get rid of the lie, okay? Only acknowledge real, original history until this later history or these later new forms of history, which is DNA, okay? And all this later history, until that is corrected, okay, and take out the errors. Until the meantime, only go by what the ancients say about ancient history, okay? When we deal with 2,000 years ago, we gotta deal with a source that dates to 2,000 years ago. If we're speaking on a people 2,000 years ago, okay, such as the Ethiopians, the Persians, okay, we can't use a 17th century or 18th century or 19th century source that only goes back 200, 100 years ago to speak on the Persians. No, we have to go to a source that's contemporary with the Persians, such as Herodotus, Diodorus Siculus, to speak on the Persians, okay? Because if you use a later source, yes, it may sound good, it may sound convincing, but it is a lie because the source is not contemporary with the time, and it is pseudo history, okay? So that is very important. No matter how bad it sounds or you don't want to accept it, the truth is in the original source that's contemporary with the time, okay? If we're speaking on the 18th dynasty kings, the conquests, we have to go to the records of the 18th dynasty, which is the Meta-Neter. We're speaking on the Ethiopians, the Persians. We have to go to Herodotus and the classical Greek historians, okay? If we're speaking on the empire of Ghana and Mali and Songhai, we have to go to the medieval Arab historians who lived during the 8th century, 9th century, 1000 AD. We speak on the Roman Empire. Okay, we have to go to the Roman historians, okay, who lived from the 1st century AD to the 6th century AD before the Arab Islamic conquest, okay? So that is important. Or otherwise, you're just teaching pseudo history. You're committing fraud. And some of you think you're going somewhere, but you're not, okay? You're not going anywhere. You're committing fraud. Okay, by using these late sources to prove your point. It's proving nothing. Yes, it may sound good. It may sound convincing to the listener, but it is fraud and pseudo. Okay. Okay. And if you ever debate me, if you run into me, I'm going to call you out for it. Okay. Now, the person that's supporting you, he may be afraid to call you out, but I'm going to call you out. Yes. Okay. Because this is my subject. This is my life. This is what I do. So we see that there are no more questions. If you have any more questions, post them now. And we're about to close out here. Okay. He says, yeah, Puntai General says, yeah, their time is coming to an end through their own hands. Yes, that is correct, Puntai General. Yes, their time is coming to an end because they are not worthy. Okay. They've been going against the truth. They've been going against God, all of that. Okay. They go against nature. They lie and they they try to rule and oppress everybody. And that's why their rule is coming to an end. Okay, it's coming to an end. And what it's going to take for it to come to an end quicker is a revolution, okay, of unified Africans, okay, that will bring a quick end, a fast end to white supremacy. But if everybody just sit back and do nothing, well, their rule and their authority is going to continue. And we don't want that. So that's why we got to get this truth out. We have to unite the people so that we can bring a fast end to white supremacy and save the survival of our race, the African race, the Black African race, and save the survival of history, okay? And save it from being destroyed and whitewashed by the racist white supremacists, okay? Okay. Are you going to do a video about the incense burner? Yes, I will. I will do a video about the incense burner. Yes. I'll have to gather up my data and gather up the theories that oppose it. And yes, I'm going to do a video about that. Okay. Okay. So yes, that is it. Irvin Google says, calm down. I'm from NYC. I'm out here by myself. Well, yes. Well, good luck to you, brother. Be careful out there in NYC with this pandemic going on and everything. Liberation through African empowerment. Yes, indeed, Puntai General. Yes. Liberation through African empowerment and liberation through African unity. Okay. So, again, what did we learn? Okay, we learned that the descendants of Cush dwelt east of the Nile in East Africa, and the descendants of Mizraim dwelt west of the Nile in West Africa. Okay, and that's what we learned today. And if you want to see the information that I put forth, you can watch the video later on, and you will see. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, the truth has been set forth. Okay, the sources have been shown. Okay, the ancients have spoken, the lies have been refuted, and the truth has been revealed. Okay, with that said, this is your brother Radio 1 signing out, saying until next time, Egypt stays in Africa. And may you all have a wonderful day. And don't forget, hit the like button, okay, hit the thumbs up button, and show your brother some love. And with that said, this is your brother Radio 1 signing out. Peace, Hotep, Ma'at, and Amun Ra. And may you all have a great day. Peace. And I'll see you later.